everybody. Welcome to another episode of the SmackDown Live Recap on the Pro Wrestling Sheet. I am your host, John Rocha, joined as always by the CEO of the Pro Wrestling Sheet there, Ryan Satin. How are you, man?
I'm doing all right. You know, it's funny. I saw someone the other day in the comments pointed out how you always call it the Pro Wrestling Sheet when technically it's just Pro Wrestling Sheet.
Right, but the
I like
is
it.
the article. The
I like
is the
it.
article.
No,
right?
I like it.
Yeah.
And then someone pointed out that I'm technically the editor-in-chief of the site, not the CEO of the site. But to that person, I kind of liked being called a CEO by someone every week, so I just didn't correct him for the past year. I've seen your comments about it.
Look, he's a CEO and he hired himself as editor-in-chief. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Good way of looking at it. It's a very good way of looking at it. I'm doing great, Rocha.
I say it's the Cleveland Browns. I don't go, I don't go Cleveland Browns played. It's the Cleveland Browns, like it's the Pro Wrestling Sheet.
I think
it's an article.
But
It's a signifier.
I guess you're right, because you wouldn't say. I guess you would say you would just say LA Times.
I say the LA Times.
Okay, all right.
I also say the Target, so it's my thing. It really is. It really is.
I'm doing great, to answer your question.
Yeah.
I'm just staying busy. I've been working out lately for the past month. I think I mentioned it once. And every other time I've done it, I always just try and post a picture while doing it, like other people do.
Like Mark Ellis, yeah?
Or just in general, most people on social media, because I felt like if people know I'm doing it, I'll feel the pressure to do it. But I haven't been doing that this time, and it's helped a lot, because now I'm just doing it as opposed to for anyone else. And I feel like after a month now, I'm finally starting to not hate it.
Okay.
Dislike, yes.
Yes.
But I haven't hated it, and I think I'm losing a little bit of weight, so
okay.
I think I'm going to stick with it. And
nice.
It's giving me a little more energy, I think, during the day.
Is it the endorphins?
Maybe.
They're kicking in?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't do it in the morning, which is what I eventually want to transition to.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah, well, Frank Grillo was in for the deep cut, and I interviewed him, which is an episode coming up next week, but he said to me, I mentioned working out, I got to get back into it. It's been 2 years. He gave me his phone number and he goes, I'm going to work your ass out, make you lose 20 pounds. And I was like, holy shit. So we'll see if that happens.
That's awesome.
That was a nice offer from a pretty badass mofo. So
yeah, totally.
We'll see how that plays out. It'll motivate me, maybe.
Google his name. I want to see his face.
Oh.
I know who he is.
Yeah.
Just because it's gonna drive me crazy.
He's Crossbones in Captain.
That's who. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was.
That's
what I thought it was.
It's a tough SOB.
I'll be honest with you.
Tender though.
Watching wrestling for as much as I do, because I used to watch it a lot, but ever since I started the site, it's I have to watch it all the time.
Yeah, you do.
And I'm just looking at people in good shape at all times.
Yeah.
And finally I was like, God, I gotta get in shape, man. It's probably from
Puts it in your head.
It's just in my head from watching people with six packs every day. But it has given me a little bit of energy.
Good. Wait till you see the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and see Brad Pitt take off his shirt.
Is it good?
Then it'll motivate you again.
Is it good?
It's good.
Great?
It's not great. It's good. It's good. It's good. Not great.
And we're gonna talk about Lion King afterwards. Now that I saw it.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So I want to hear what his real thoughts on it were, not what he put on Twitter.
There you go. Speaking of angry fans, Kevin Owens came out. We had this whole thing with Shane McMahon kicked off SmackDown Live here, talking all this stuff after we had a little bit of a preview of what had happened the weeks before, talking all what's going to happen to Kevin Owens, what's going to go down, and mentioning how Kevin Owens quit, calling him a quitter, all these kinds of things, which of course in the WWE they always have receipts. And so Kevin Owens comes out, kind of challenges the notion, said he's not that same person anymore. They have a fun back and forth. Then Shane stops him and says, whoa, come any further, you're not going to wrestle at all tonight. You know who you are going to wrestle? Roman Reigns, the big dog. And that gets a huge reaction from the Miami crowd that was there. So what did you think about this whole promo back and forth and what it led to?
It was fine for what it was. I think that I just really wish they had used Kevin Owens on the reunion show.
Yeah, that was weird.
As much as I liked what they did with Stone Cold, they really could have used Stone Cold from an interaction with Kevin Owens of some sort.
Maybe a double stunner. Yeah.
I also think that I was a little distracted here at the opening of the show.
Okay.
Because they said Shawn Michaels was going to be on commentary.
They did.
And then they kicked off the show by saying he's not going to be on commentary.
And then New Day came out.
And New Day came
to be on commentary.
To be there on commentary. And I was like, that's weird. Why did they do that? And especially after seeing the segment that happened later, I'm really wondering why that happened.
Yeah.
But this was fine for what it was, the Kevin Owens, Shane McMahon stuff. The people seem pumped for Kevin Owens versus KO.
Yeah. I was surprised that Shawn was going to do commentary for a whole show anyway. That's not a Shawn Michaels thing.
That's funny that you say that because Jay Washington, when we were in the Raw recap, he said the same thing. He was like, Shawn Michaels needs like short doses on commentary.
Yeah.
Because
Shawn drifts off.
But also, I think what I took from his initial tweet when he announced it was because he said, like, I've been practicing. It sounded like he had been practicing at the WWE Performance Center while down there.
Oh, to wrestle or to call matches?
To call matches.
Wow.
You know, that's the vibe I got when he said, I've been practicing. When he said he was going to be on commentary. So that was the vibe that I got.
Yeah.
But clearly, maybe I was wrong. I don't know.
I'm down to practice calling matches at the WWE Performance Center.
I'm sure you would be.
Do you think it's 2 stools and you just with a mic, or do you think it's actual whole desk and everything like that?
Oh, I think it's a whole desk. I bet you it's a whole desk.
All right, I'm down.
Yeah, I bet you it's a whole desk. I mean, they have a whole green. They have so many rooms in that Performance Center of like the promo room where there's just a camera rolling, and you can just basically walk in, push record, cut your promo. When you're done, you know, you push stop or whatever, and it's like, what's your email? You type in your email and it sends you your promos so you can practice your promos without someone like watching you. You know, you can like literally do it in the mic, you know, in the camera and see what you look like to try and like get better at promos.
I'm down with it. I like that idea.
There's lots of cool stuff like that.
I like that idea.
There was nothing too monumental about this opening, right? That I recall. I mean, I was kind of like, I almost felt like I was half paying attention to it because I don't have a lot to say about it.
It kind of laid the groundwork for what's going to come later on in the show, but certainly furthering this angle between Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon. I'm starting to warm up to it. I didn't like it initially. I'm starting to slowly warm up to it. We'll see. I mean, the fact that he's using the stunner is kind of a weird on-the-nose thing that this is Stone Cold and Vince again in a new era.
Yep.
So I'm a little concerned about that, but we'll see as it goes along. Certainly Kevin Owens is one of my favorite wrestlers. He'll make it work.
Yeah, and I feel like Shane versus Kevin Owens at SummerSlam is fine.
Yeah, sure.
I'm into it.
Better than Miz, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Well, at least, you know, like I said before, at least it's against someone who you can believe is an anti-authority type person. You cannot believe Miz is an anti-authority type person. You cannot believe Roman Reigns is an anti-authority type person because we see all their interviews. We see everything they've done. We know we watch their trajectory, and like both guys are clearly company guys.
Right.
Kevin Owens, I don't think you can say that as much about. He's much more of a rebel. He's much more of a loose cannon, so to speak.
Yeah. I'd like to think Rollins would be in that, but like after seeing him at the Raw reunion, I don't see it anymore.
And just after seeing, you know, how much he waves the WWE flag on social media and stuff now.
Yeah, this whole thing. 2 words for you. Wait, I wasn't triple. I don't. You know when they do the reunions, I guess everything gets thrown out. Well, it's fun.
You know, we talked about it on the Raw recap yesterday similarly. Yeah. But then, you know, right as I finished here, you know, there was I hadn't seen it prior to recording because I was running around doing a ton of things yesterday. Yep. But apparently, Ricochet was supposed to be in that spot.
Oh.
So that was supposed to be Ricochet.
That totally makes sense.
Which makes way more sense. Yeah. But apparently he's dealing with some sort of like minor elbow kind of infection thing. He was seen earlier in the day with like his whole arm wrapped up.
Wow.
And he even replied to Rollins on Twitter with like a crying face when Rollins posted the video or the picture of him with all the legends, with all the DX and Click guys. So yeah, originally, and I want to say the SmackDown, something on WWE.com is what really revealed it, because there was a write-up on WWE.com that went up after, and it said something along the lines of like, after DX and NWO helped Ricochet combat the club, what's going to happen with blah, 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 blah on SmackDown or something like that. And so everyone was like, wait, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. What are you guys talking about? And then it all kind of like slowly started to come to light. So that made it make a little more sense to kind of why they had to do things on the fly like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you retweet that tweet of someone saying that Scott Dawson needs to have a Dawson's Creek?
Oh yeah, I loved it.
That's a
Dawson's
great
Creek
versus OC. I was laughing for 10 minutes.
The OC stuff, we were dying yesterday on here too. I mean, the OC,
it's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
I thought the Viking experience was ridiculous. The OC like goes, hold my beer. I mean, that was basically what that was.
That really was what it was.
You absolutely undercut the club completely. That stupid name.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And it's funny too, because I almost wonder, let's say someone in creative said, hey guys.
Yeah.
I guarantee you whoever said no, which was probably Vince, was like, that was 10 years ago. Nobody's fucking remembers that. Also, like, such different audiences, the OC versus WWE.
Right. Nope.
I'm sure they didn't expect that every single person was going to be like, oh, guys, what? But
Yeah.
nope, it happened.
They
Everyone
gotta
was
change
like,
it.
what?
Yeah, I'm sure Gallus and Anderson when it was pitched were like, oh no.
Oh, no.
We were just getting close to being relevant again.
Man.
Son of a gun.
Damn it. The worst part, like I said yesterday, is the shirts are cool, too.
Oh, the shirts are badass.
Yeah, I know.
I like the shirts, sadly. All right.
It just says the OC at the top of it.
All right, let's move on. Shinsuke Nakamura.
I grew up in Orange County, and I don't like it.
He knows what he's talking about there. California. All right, so Apollo Crews here came out in a non-title match against Shinsuke Nakamura. I really enjoyed this match.
Absolutely.
They finally, I hope I can say this right, they finally let Apollo do what he, like, took the reins off of him and let Apollo do what he can do with a match. And Shinsuke really, like, the chemistry was great between these guys. Thoroughly enjoyed it. The near falls were believable as hell. And he wouldn't have lost anything if he had lost Shinsuke, because he wouldn't have lost the title. So, but this was great. And even Otunga, I think, said afterwards, or Xavier said afterwards, they're going to remember Apollo from this match. So hopefully this, you know, whatever they're doing with him, hopefully this is another step in the right direction for him.
Yeah, I mean, even though I want to say it was last week when he won, right?
Yeah.
So it was kind of random that he like wins last week and he gets an opportunity and loses right away. It's like, well, which way are we going with him?
Right.
But yes, absolutely. I was a big fan of the match. I thought that, you know, I've been a big fan of Apollo Crews for a long time, and I've been surprised that he hasn't gotten a bigger push this whole entire time because of how ripped he is and how much he can fly around. You'd think he'd be someone that Vince would love, you know? So I'm not really sure why he hasn't, but I'm glad to see that he's finally like getting a chance lately. I mean, he is someone, you know, between, you know, last week and then Kushida on NXT and now Shinsuke Nakamura, I think that Apollo Crews is kind of stepping out a little bit finally, and it's very needed because he's a very talented guy, and this match really showed that.
Yeah, and hopefully they give him more and more. I hope this is a program. Now they fought twice. I hope this is a program that leads to something maybe at SummerSlam and gives Apollo a little more shine, a little more chance to show what he can do. And
wait, did he beat him? Did they wrestle twice? Wasn't last week against Andrade?
Oh, I'm sorry. Right. But like, you see what he can do is what I'm saying, I guess.
Yes.
And we've seen him on TV twice. I'm sorry, you're right.
Yeah.
I should say that. So like, I want to see what it leads to. And if it leads to a SummerSlam match with Shinsuke, that'd be great. Because who else is sitting around waiting to challenge Shinsuke? This makes sense.
Yeah, and Finn's obviously moving into something else.
Yes, which we'll get to in a little bit. Yeah,
absolutely. And also, can we just talk about Shinsuke's swag last night?
I know,
dude. He had like a whole swag going with that jacket and like showing off the belt while doing his jacket. He legitimately looked like he was a runway model, you know?
Yep.
Like he had just like as if he was doing like a swag down like a runway which I thought was really cool. I liked the way he just had a cool presence to him. And New Day really did add to this match on commentary. They were so funny throughout the match.
So funny.
Like when Shinsuke won and then he just started beating up Apollo and they were on commentary like, who's gonna help him? Well, it's not gonna be us, but where's your friends? Where's your friends, Apollo? Where's your friends? And they just kept yelling, where's your friends? On commentary. I was cracking up. I almost wonder if that's why they got pulled from commentary.
Oh, eventually, because they were
I don't know if they did get pulled from commentary, but it was odd how like they were there half the show, and then all of a sudden it was like, now Michael Cole's here, and I don't know, because the whole, I'm gonna obviously ask around a little bit today and see if I can find anything out, but like the whole commentary thing was weird last night. You know, I don't know, it was weird that they announced Shawn Michaels was gonna be on commentary, then he wasn't. Then New Day they said was gonna be on commentary, then they took him off in the middle of the show and switched him with Michael Cole. Obviously, they explained the Byron Saxton situation. You know, unfortunately, his father passed away. Very sad, which makes sense to why he wouldn't be there. But I almost wonder if they like gave Corey Graves the night off, thinking that Shawn Michaels was going to be in his spot.
Good point.
And then it was like, oh shit.
Yeah, because
now we're going to do this thing with Shawn Michaels,
right.
with Miz TV, which we'll get to next. But it was just weird to me. Like the whole commentary scene throughout the night was very confusing. However, I really enjoyed Michael Cole's commentary on SmackDown. It was interesting to hear Michael Cole not necessarily be the lead play-by-play guy who's like the main person running the show.
This is what I'm telling you.
What?
I've been saying this from the beginning. Michael Cole he had a great run, and obviously he's still doing it on Raw. But like, I think he'd be great to go back to the side and do stuff on the side as color and let Renee lead Raw. That's what she naturally can do. And we saw here with Tom Phillips how he was able to bounce off Tom so well, still get all the promos right, get everything in order because he's the guy in charge of all these people. He should just slowly move to the side.
I can see it happening. I can see it happening.
Yeah,
I'm honestly wondering if like as we get closer to the Fox thing, I feel like as we get closer to the Fox thing, we're gonna get a shakeup when it comes to the announcers.
Yeah.
I don't know this, but because they want to have different looks for the two they want the two shows to stand apart once the Fox thing happens.
Right, of course.
I would think they wouldn't want Corey Graves on both shows.
Yeah, no.
I feel like there's got to be some sort of shakeup here.
Yeah.
I felt like Michael Cole did a good job of like you said. I wouldn't say color commentary because he wasn't like this big animated thing, but he was providing color to everything. You know, with stats and facts and things based on his 20 years in the business and stuff. I know Michael Cole gets a lot of shit for commentary and stuff.
He does.
But here, he didn't have to, since he was second,
that's what I mean.
He didn't have to promote anything.
Right.
He didn't have to be like, social media this, SummerSlam that. He was literally just sitting there, and when there was a good thought that he had, he was able to provide it. And I really felt like it was nice. I thought it was good.
Yeah. I think this is the way to go for Michael. Michael will still stay in power. Michael will still be in charge of these people. And the check's still cash. He does not have to be the main dude. I get the ego of it, of course. Trust me, I understand that, but I also think some things. You're still the man. You're still in charge of the situation. Going to the side to not let, but to open the door for Renee to step in and do the natural thing that she does, which is lead a hosting panel, makes so much sense.
Well, but to be fair, leading a hosting panel and leading a commentary team are such different things.
Yeah, but I believe that she can do it. I really do. I've been banging this drum for quite some time. I think she's the one to lead Raw next, and I think the fans won't have a problem with it because the fans love Renee and all the shows she does. The fans love her, and I think that's why she's always front and center, because they have other female hosts they could put into those spots, but no one gets the response Renee does, right? And so having her I think she's more naturally suited to lead a announcing team than she is to be color on an announcing team. So we'll see. I mean, but like I take your point and absolutely agree with you.
I think
he was great on
she's great
SmackDown.
She is phenomenal when it comes to leading the charge of anything that she is given. Yeah. When she's allowed to be the leader of something, she's great at it. So I'm not doubting that she has that. Yeah. I actually do think that's what's going to happen. I could see her being the lead person on Raw in the near future, and Michael Cole going over to SmackDown, and maybe they do something like Renee, Corey, and a third person, and then on SmackDown it's Michael Cole, Tom Phillips, and Byron.
Yeah.
That would kind of make sense to me.
And then Michael can slide into a little bit of the Corey Graves role, be a little more of a heel, like the old school, the ankle lock, all that.
Oh, I don't want the coal miner era to return. I was not a coal miner.
What? Oh, that was fun.
You were a coal miner?
I was not a fan of him.
Fired, Rocha.
But I loved all of that. It was so funny.
I did kind of like when he hated
lock. You cannot deny was genius.
I did like when he. I don't think it was good, but I did enjoy when he was hardcore heel and he was talking shit on Daniel Bryan all the time.
Yes,
it undermined the shit out of Daniel Bryan, but it was always funny. And when he was doing like the NXT stuff and he like hated being there, it was fun.
Yeah, it was brilliant. And is going after Jerry, of course, and wearing the damn onesie or whatever it is, the singlet was brilliant
with the headgear.
With the headgear. Anyway, all right. So as Ryan mentioned, Miz TV up next.
This was awesome. This
was great. Yeah, Miz came out.
I know you're not a Shawn Michaels guy.
It's not that I'm not a Shawn
Michaels guy. Don't fucking front for the camera.
Not that I'm not a Shawn Michaels guy. It's just that I don't revere him to the level that other people revere him. That's all. He's a fantastic wrestler, great legacy, certainly a good ambassador.
You don't like Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels.
We all know.
We all heard you.
Not true.
We all can read through the lines, Rocha.
That's not true.
Read between the lines.
I've said all the time that one of the best WrestleMania matches ever is Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker. That's one of the best. One of the best.
Well, that's true.
That's
well,
true.
You'd be silly if you didn't say that.
Oh, now I'm silly. No, I just didn't like the way Shawn treated Hulk in that match. That's the only problem I've ever had with Shawn.
Hulk shouldn't have been such a...
Well, yeah, because Shawn's such a normal, relaxed guy. Anyway, we had Miz come out. Before we get to the Miz, real quick, the promo with Ali. Did you like that? Was here as well? I think.
Oh,
did you like that promo?
I did. Yeah. I mean,
okay.
I like when they do things that are a little different. So I mean, like I like that they're giving Ali these promos that just stand out. They look a little more cinematic. They have that cool vibe to them. I think that kind of thing resonates with a younger audience too, because it's like
I think
feels
that's what it's
grittier.
about.
Yeah, me too.
Right, because for me, I look at it and I go, just go do your business. But this whole, I'm not a fan of people who take videos of themselves talking about stuff. Even in our sphere, I'm not the biggest fan when I see it on social media when it's constant. The occasional thing, great, but constant, I don't like it. And seeing the promo from Ali, I'm like, this is for another generation. Because for me, you can twist that and turn that into a heel thing. Because he said, I don't care if it's here or here, I'm going through whatever I need to go through. So it could be funny if he turns it into a heel situation.
As we get closer and closer to SmackDown moving to Fox, I'm noticing just like tiny little changes of like for the sports-y element kind of coming back to SmackDown, where to separate it from Raw's like the soap opera show.
Right.
And SmackDown's more like the sportsy kind of vibe, because I mean, even the commentary Michael Cole was providing last night, the color stuff, he was providing some stats and history type stuff. And I felt the same way here, where it was like, this is much more of like something you'd see an MMA guy doing on where he's like his pre-fight YouTube series where he's like sitting there talking tough to the camera. And I like it. It's very old school, but new school. So I'm into it.
Yeah, I'm down with that too. All right. So anyway, Miz TV, Miz comes out, welcome Shawn Michaels to the show. They have a good conversation.
Before we get to Dolph interrupting. One of my favorite parts, well, not one of my favorite parts, but something I loved about this was I like that Shawn came out in a suit jacket, because they probably told him to wear a suit jacket. And then like and by the time he gets in the ring, he has already taken off his suit jacket and he's in full sexy boy mode, where he's just got a tank top and jeans on, where he's just like, yeah, this is me.
Yeah.
I like that. It made me laugh.
I agree. I think it was great. And it was
classic Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, of course. He's going to do what he's going to do. Who's going to tell him otherwise?
Exactly.
And he'll take the hits.
Oh yeah.
Vince knows.
He doesn't care.
He doesn't care. He'll get forgiven before he asks permission. But he gets in there, like you said, he takes his clothes. They have a nice back and forth, talks about the Raw reunion, how fun it was to be with those guys. And then of course the younger superstars as well, and it was great. I mean, like, look, DX and NWO coming together, you forget they're the clique. Like, as much as I want to put them against each other, they are all friends, and they were the guys that revolutionized the business in the 90s.
Absolutely.
When it was about to go into the tank, for a number of reasons. And you see that so I always forget that, when they come together, that they were friends originally.
Totally.
So the fact that they all had this idea is genius.
It's one of my favorite things that they like split apart, and then they raised the business, the business got elevated, and they've been friends the whole time. It's great. The curtain call. It's good stuff.
And so we get this happening, and this is fun. We have a little time with Shawn, but then Ziggler comes out, interrupts, then says that he is so disappointed that Shawn broke his heart by coming back and all this jazz, and that he should have gone out on top. That's the way. And then Shawn comes back at him and says, surprisingly, I agree with you. I shouldn't have retired. And then says, but what's it like to be a second-rate Shawn Michaels wannabe?
You do everything to work hard your whole entire life, have all these accolades, and still be known as a second-rate Shawn Michaels. Loved that.
It was good.
Oh, yeah, that was good. That's the thing. You go like, an ultimate pro like Shawn Michaels, he's just like, he's sitting back there at NXT during tapings and being like, oh, if I could just like go in there and do that one
of course
thing, I would turn it on like this. Or, his mind is, he can't help it. He's Shawn Michaels. That he's always thinking of like what he would do if his character was done.
Right.
It. I mean, it probably helps him think of what he could do for other people,
Right.
And so, that it's like, you could tell that he's just like been around it now for so long at the PC that like, it's in him again.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like when someone's been gone for a long time and they're not around it, and they maybe can't hit those points at certain times like that, but Shawn Michaels hit it perfectly. When from being the happy-go-lucky guy to when Dolph talks shit and it affects him, and then he does the "you're right" types of. It was just like nailing every beat perfectly, like a great actor would. Just like nailing him. And I felt like, one thing I found interesting is they've really been burying their Saudi events lately.
Oh yeah,
have you noticed that?
No.
Well, in this thing, Dolph Ziggler said you sucked in Saudi Arabia.
Oh yeah,
and he went, yeah, you're right. That match did suck, you know? And then, you know, the similar, like, they've said bad things, I think, if I recall, about
certainly the
Goldberg and Undertaker. They've said some things
they
since.
made allusions.
Didn't they even say it? No, it wasn't here, but there have been people who have said something about the Undertaker Goldberg match and talked shit on it. So I'm almost wondering if they're going to not do the Legends matches at these Saudi events anymore.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Or at least be smarter about it.
It feels like at the end of Raw, they kind of set up the Hogan Stone Cold thing.
No.
Having Hogan do what he did, then having Stone Cold come in, it just feels like they're kind of laying a little bit of the possibility there for people.
That's funny. I didn't feel that vibe at all, and that's my prediction that's the match that Saudi Arabia wants. I did feel like Stone Cold was in bomb shape, though.
It was looking great.
Stone Cold is in killer shape right now.
He can still do it one more time.
That's what my friends were. We were in a group chat like, you know he's got one more in him. You know he's got one more in him.
Stone Cold, The Rock, and Triple H. One triple threat, please.
Oh, God. The problem is similar to it's for Hulk Hogan and Stone Cold.
Yeah.
Both of their finishers rely on them falling directly on their butt, which they've had to have surgeries for and stuff.
Right.
You know, I mean, that as much as it doesn't, you don't think about it, that shit hurts your body. Like the leg drop. Doing that for 40 years, like you put a lot of impact on your spine. Like, you know, and same with Stone Cold. Like Stone Cold just dropping on his ass doing the stunner all the time. You don't see him just dropping stunners out all the time anymore. No. But I do think that's one that they want. If I were Hulk Hogan and Stone Cold, I'd be trying to get in super shape to make that happen to get one last giant payday.
I think Stone Cold, certainly. What can Hogan do at this point? I love Hogan to pieces, but he's over 60. He's in the 60s, man. You know,
man, he's got like a robot back now, though.
Fair enough. I guess Jerry Briscoe, if he can win the 24/7 title, anything is possible.
But you know what? Also with Shawn Michaels here, I felt like, you know, because there's this whole dust up at the end, and Dolph Ziggler hits him with the super kick. So, in your opinion, do you think we're leading towards another Shawn Michaels match?
Shawn versus Ziggler would be incredible.
It would.
I think that would tear a house down because both those guys love to fly around and do crazy shit and go inside and outside the ring and have great speed chemistry in the ring. So I'd be down for that.
Yes.
I don't want Miz involved. Well,
I agree. I agree with you, but
maybe a triple threat.
I feel like we're more likely to get, and I know everyone's hopes are up after last night.
Yeah.
But I feel like we're more likely to get guest referee Shawn Michaels than like Miz versus Dolph, since they were already going that way with Shawn Michaels as the guest referee.
Maybe.
We haven't had that short Shawn Michaels referee look in a long time, you know? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, doing all that. I'm wondering if we're getting that at SummerSlam because
cool.
I broke it on the site last night, and there's a little bit of spoiler warning here. If you don't want to know a match that's taking place at SummerSlam that has not been announced yet, fast forward a few minutes. This is your warning. This is your last warning.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like we're getting Trish Stratus versus Charlotte at SummerSlam.
Whoa!
And we're going to get to the Charlotte thing shortly. But I don't think that we're going to have two Hall of Famers who are technically like coming out of like, not retirement, because Shawn Michaels already did that, and Trish Stratus isn't technically retired.
Yeah. They're guest wrestling.
But guest wrestlers, exactly.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're not going to get two WWE Hall of Famers as guest wrestlers at this pay-per-view.
Okay.
But you never know. I mean, it's possible.
Yeah.
It looks like, you know, because I thought maybe we were going to get the club here. I thought the club was going to be involved in this. I thought maybe we were going to get some continuation from Raw and AJ saying to Shawn Michaels and Triple H, like, you don't think we'll go to NXT? You don't think we know where you work? We know how to get there. Like, we know where you are. I thought they were going to maybe play off of that a little bit and go that direction, especially with Ricochet possibly not being able to wrestle at SummerSlam. They need something new for the club to do. So I thought maybe they were going to go that direction, and that's why they pulled Shawn from commentary so they could start an angle here. But I guess inserting Shawn at SummerSlam as a guest referee is also
that works,
fun.
Right?
Works.
It doesn't mean he wrestles.
No.
And maybe he gets involved in the match.
And he probably hits a super kick back on Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, he's done that before. Everybody remembers the situation with him with Triple H and Undertaker. So it's certainly a possibility.
And WWE's trying to pop the ratings a little bit right now. You know, clearly with the AEW on their heels and stuff. So it makes sense.
Yeah. And if you haven't read that thread that you tweeted about the writers getting laid off, I thought that's a good tweet. If you haven't read that thread, you should definitely read that thread. That's good respect. Good respect.
Yeah, Tom, he's a former former writer on the creative team. He's got lots of interesting stuff.
So you see changes are being made, I guess, is what the point is here. So it could lead to a match down the road between the three of them, which would be fun. A triple threat match with Shawn Michaels, Ziggler, and The Miz would be great down the road. We'll see. All right, let's move on to Ember Moon. This was a really interesting situation. Bayley came out. Ember Moon comes out, wrestles Charlotte. Bayley comes out. Ember uses that distraction to pin Charlotte. And then randomly, as Bayley and Ember are making fun of Charlotte, Ember throws Bayley into the ring to distract Charlotte, and then Ember delivers a whooping on Charlotte. So I don't know what the point of this was, because I'm just like, is she going heel? I thought for a second she was going heel, which would be great. That's something to do with her character. But I don't know if she's playing both. Like, I just don't know the point of this.
Yeah, I'm completely
Explain
with
it
you.
to me.
No, I can't.
Okay.
I don't know either. I was also confused. I was like, wait, is she heel? Is she turning?
Right.
Wait, what? But I will say this much. If she is turning heel, very needed. Because you and I have talked about this. How
she needs something.
Nintendo Switch playing Fire Goddess doesn't really make sense.
Right.
Like, you need to have a clear-cut character.
Yep.
Are you this gamer nerd, or are you a Fire Goddess?
Right,
you know?
Right.
And in my opinion, Fire Goddess is going to get you a lot more down the line than a person who plays video games.
Right,
you know?
exactly.
And who is kind of like this meager person backstage, but then when she comes to the ring, she's this, larger than life character.
Yeah.
I feel like she needs that edge. It helped Bayley, it helped Becky, it's helped a lot of people adding a little edge to their character. So I would really like them to add to go full blown for a heel turn. Also, because it makes more sense with this Bayley match.
Yeah.
There's not a lot to it right now. It was like, who do you want? Ember, great. That's the feud, know? And so, like, if Ember's going to kind of have a mean streak go into it, I think that helps the feud. I think it helps Ember. I think it helps everyone overall.
Yeah.
So if that's the direction they're going, cool.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right.
Right?
Yeah, I think that's the best explanation I've heard yet, so I'll accept that. But you got to do something to make her stand out. This stands out, certainly, so we'll see how how it goes forward storyline-wise with her.
Do you have the Charlotte thing written down, or should we talk about that here as well, the interview? So Charlotte had that interview later in the night where she mentioned how she wants to, she promised to have a match at SummerSlam and said that she wants to prove that she is the greatest female wrestler of all time or whatever. And then how
can you have a premiere event without the queen, is what she was saying.
Exactly. On social media afterwards, she tweeted saying "Queen of all eras" is what she called herself.
Yeah, I saw that.
And so that spoiler alert, you're gonna have to forward a few more minutes if you really cared about getting spoiled. Warning, one more spoiler alert. Warning. Okay, with Trish Stratus. So I've heard that I mean, it's in her hometown, Toronto, SummerSlam, and I've heard she's pretty much locked in to be wrestling at the event. So I feel like that's a good marquee match for this show. Show. Yeah, I mean, like, Trish Stratus in a singles match, I'm into it.
She did an Evolution. She was great. Her and Lita were great in Evolution.
I was gonna say, that wasn't a singles match, though.
No, it was a tag team match, but she could do it.
Yeah, totally.
So it's good to see her wanting to get in tussle with Charlotte Flair.
I will say it's a bummer that it's not Sasha, as much as I love Charlotte Flair.
Oh, yeah.
Just because I know that you've seen Sasha talk so much about how she wants to wrestle Trish Stratus, and I realize that she's not backstage right now, so it's a little hard to make that happen. But
how sure are you that it's going to be Charlotte and Trish?
I'm like 95% sure.
Okay, all right. Because a lot of people,
unless something really weird happens from now until, it's only a few weeks away.
Right.
So I've known for a week.
Okay.
But I was holding off because I was still working on it, and then last night after the stuff happened on SmackDown, I was like, okay, there we go. And then I reached out to a few more sources, confirmed with a few more sources.
Okay.
I'm 95% sure that she's wrestling, that Trish Stratus is wrestling the pay-per-view. As for their opponent, Charlotte, I would also say very high likelihood.
Okay.
And I saw this morning that post-wrestling, they confirmed this morning. They said it's done deal.
Wow.
Trish Stratus versus Charlotte.
All right. So there may be Trish Stratus coming out going, "You're not the queen."
That's my guess.
I laid the groundwork for the women's revolution.
That's my guess.
Yeah,
You're going to say you're the queen of all eras.
Yeah,
well,
right.
I'm an 8-time. Isn't she like an 8-time women's champion or something like that? So I think she can go like that. Like, I've got more title reigns than you type thing.
Right. And okay, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. All right, let's move on. Kofi Kingston here he came out to talk about who his match is going to be at SummerSlam. Calls out Randy Orton. Randy Orton comes out. They have a fantastic back and forth. Go back to 2009. So, life moves so fast sometimes that you forget, man.
And I've never forgotten this one.
Really? Okay.
Because I was a big Kofi
You were a Kofi mark.
Kofi mark at the time.
Yeah, I was never a Kofi mark. But I always appreciated him, but I always saw him as a good mid-card.
Well, see, me when I got back into wrestling at a certain point, I'd gotten out of it for a little bit, and I got back into it, and then it was really sparked my passion again. Some people are gonna laugh. Was the WWE version of ECW, where because not because it was like thrilling television, but like me and my good friends at the time, who I had discovered were also wrestling fans, and I'd known them for a while. We would all get together to watch ECW together, and then that's when CM Punk debuted, and I was like, whoa, that guy's cool. Yeah, I'm into that. I've heard about this guy on the internet for the past few years. Right. Now I'm seeing him. I see why people were pumped on that guy. And Kofi was one of the other people who debuted on ECW, the WWE version of ECW, with his whole Jamaican thing and the on the beach or whatever, those vignettes. And my friends and I, let's just say a Rasta Jamaican character resonated with us at the time when we were watching the show together. And so we all loved Kofi Kingston. Yeah. And then so I always was like a big Kofi guy. And then when the Randy Orton stuff happened, I was like, yeah, this is Kofi's moment. And it wasn't, Right. So I, for one, love that they're calling back to this. And I really love that it was Kofi who called him out. It wasn't the opposite way. It was like, this thing is eating at me for years. You held me down, and I want my revenge for it. Like, that's such good storytelling.
Yeah, and Randy pushing back saying, well, I didn't have to do a fake Jamaican accent and shake my butt on screen. And a number of people were super upset on Twitter about what Randy said. So it was like, oh, yeah, Randy, you're third generation superstar. Tell me how hard you had to work. So it was really interesting.
No, he said he didn't have to work hard.
That's what I'm saying. Well, no, but people were saying like it's ridiculous for him to comment and say that, Kofi, that was his situation.
I also loved where he said and I always felt like you held me down. And Randy went, I did hold you down. Yeah. Like, I did say that. I loved it. I was like, you go like, oh, what a fucking dick. Right. Fuck that guy, And so it's great.
I can't believe I've lived long enough to see Randy Orton's actual terrible shit be used in a real heel angle that he's owning up to finally.
It's so true.
Instead of those stupid videos promoting him as some good guy.
That's full circle stuff right there where you're like, all the stuff that people used to say about him. And now, from what you hear, he's like completely changed. He's like a nice guy behind the scenes. Yeah. People like him. He's like a veteran backstage. He's got a kid. He's got a family now.
That's what happens sometimes.
That happens. He's grown up.
He's grown up.
It happens.
Doesn't mean you have to forgive him for the stuff in the past, but
it's
the man
fun to be able
changes.
to play off of that
People
stuff.
change.
Yeah, but it's fun to be able to play off that stuff and thing now that he's not that as much, and he is pretty well likable.
And maybe that's why they can use it, because Randy's cool with it now.
Totally.
Instead of being an indictment of him.
Totally. It's not like exactly. It's not like they're ribbing him because people don't like him behind the scenes. Right. Right. And so I thought all of this was money, man. I thought this made Kofi look like a star. Yep. It made him look like it did a good job of getting you into it. You're like, I remember that. Yeah. Almost every fan remembers that, I think. Well, who were watching at the time. You remember when Kofi had that whole feud with Randy Orton, and he was like on target to be there, and then it just fizzled away. So I honestly, right now, because who's Seth? Do we know who's Seth versus Brock? Right. I'd be cool with Kofi versus Randy main eventing the show.
Main eventing the show?
I feel like there's more history to it.
It won't happen, but I hear what you're saying.
It won't happen, but I bet you it'll be a better match.
Sure. It'll be a better match. No doubt. Yeah. No doubt. And the fans are kind of turning on Seth. So this
kind of are.
This is going to be a fascinating pay-per-view for sure.
I actually feel like WWE has done a phenomenal job with Kofi Kingston's title run.
Hands down. Maybe one of the best things they've done in a long time.
Because it had a slow start, and you're like, oh, is this going to go the way of Daniel Bryan's run?
Yep.
But it didn't. It kept elevating.
Yep.
With each feud, it's elevated a little more. He's elevated a little more in the eyes of fans to where now he's going up against a WWE legend. Randy Orton is a legend in WWE at this point. He went from the legend killer to being one of the legends now, and he needs to be killed. And that's what Kofi's going to be there for. And I love figuratively, obviously. But I like the way they're going with it. And honestly, when you look at like the landscape of WWE right now, I feel like there's enough opponents for Kofi Kingston to sustain his run to WrestleMania.
Thoroughly agree with you, and I saw you tweet about that, and I hope that ends up being the case. But I think Randy has to be the last one to use the fluke angle. At some point, the fluke angle starts to become something that has no weight to it because he's beating everyone who's calling him a fluke consistently and numerous times. So with the Randy situation, once this is done, they're going to have to find a new angle or a new way to approach Kofi to denigrate him being champion. That's possible.
Well, a win over Randy Orton, you can't call him that anymore.
That's
at that
what I'm
point.
saying.
Yeah. I think that might be why they're doing that. Because like, okay, we've had him go up against guys who were on his level. Now we need to have him go up against one who's above his level, who's like someone who we revere as like the golden circle type people, like the top guys in the company, to really show what he's got as champion. And so, so you saw that tweet I put out there.
I liked it.
I feel like that might be the direction they're going.
Why not?
I feel like you go for a full year of Kofi as champion, and Kofi, and you can even have Big E win the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Or even, I guess, because you want all of New Day, so that's a little more difficult. No, I guess just Kofi goes, you guys deserve it. You've been there for me, and I want to give something to you. You were there for me last WrestleMania, and you supported me this whole year. I want to give you your guys' big WrestleMania moment.
Right.
We're going to have a 3-way for the WWE title.
Or you could do the repeat of Hogan and Andre, where Big E goes, where, they turn on them, and Xavier goes, you didn't give this man, he's the Bobby Heenan, you didn't give this man a shot at the title. He supported you for years, and you never once gave him a shot at the title. And now, what are you here to do? I want to challenge you for your title at the WrestleMania. That would be awesome. That would Big E versus Kofi for the title would be fantastic with a heel aspect to it.
But what if it's just cool, like 3 guys at the top of their game, don't have to break up, and you have this cool moment where you have these cool vignettes where they're all training, they're all at peak physical condition. It's not about hating each other. It's the opposite. It's about loving each other and having a marquee match between the 3 of them that ends with, let's say, Kofi winning. I'm sorry, that ends with, let's say, Big E winning.
Okay.
And a hug afterwards, a passing of the torch from Kofi to Big E, like, hey, I had my year, now it's time for yours. I feel like that gives you more than Big E being like, fuck positivity, I want the title. I just don't think it falls in line with his character at all.
Okay. You and your kumbaya stuff.
If anyone's gonna turn heel, it's Xavier Woods.
Yeah, but it won't carry the weight as it would if Big E turns heel. But it could be that they do that, and at the end, how Kofi wins could affect Big E turning heel, which that's possible.
A little more possible.
Yeah, that's a little more possible.
I don't think they need to break up, man. Power positivity.
Woo! I agree with you.
You don't, you liar.
The positivity, I agree with the power of positivity. I don't agree with them not breaking up. But this is, speaking of positivity, we're leaving that now to go into the not so positive, which was the match that followed between Samoa Joe and Kofi. This was so unnecessary. I don't understand the point of it. I get it that it's to Randy to interfere, but still, Kofi comes out on top in both ways because Randy RKO's Joe, so Kofi doesn't have to beat him, and then Kofi gives him Trouble in Paradise? The Trouble in Paradise finisher on Randy, and then stands over him with the belt. So to me, I thought this was a wasted thing on all fronts.
Yeah, I can see that. One thing I liked here is that we didn't just get another loss. We didn't get another just loss to Samoa Joe. I feel like Samoa Joe's been losing a lot, and he's a strong character, and these losses ultimately will make people look at him in a lesser light if they continually have him lose all the time against all the other main eventers.
Yes.
So I liked that Randy interfered.
Yep.
I liked that he came in, that he stopped everything, that he tried to interfere, and that Kofi outsmarted him, was waiting for him to do that, and did the whole stop in there drunken master pose status. Yeah. I was okay with that. I didn't like that Joe then still got RKO'd.
Yeah.
Because it was like, well, I thought we were doing this to protect Joe.
Right.
That didn't do that.
Nope.
Necessarily.
Nope.
But I kind of liked that, in order to elevate Kofi even more to a level of Randy Orton, I liked that he had one up on Randy, that he was waiting the whole match for Randy to do that, and then still had his number and was able to outsmart him, and he knew that Randy couldn't help but RKO someone, and then he was able to hit the kick. So I didn't hate all of this.
Okay.
But I can see your point of what you're saying about very unnecessary.
Because I think it did undercut Joe a little bit.
100% undercuts Joe.
Yeah, and it makes Randy look beatable. And yeah, people look at themselves. People look at Kofi standing over Randy, and they go, "Oh, this is a tease that Randy's going to win." But this has happened before, where Kofi has gotten the best of everyone and still won the match later on. So maybe it's a further effort to legitimize Kofi even more with the fans.
That's the vibe I got.
Yeah, but I don't think
he stands tall with Joe, who's a beast.
Yeah.
And then he outsmarts Randy.
I guess I get the point.
Yeah.
I just feel like he doesn't need it. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know the temperature of the fans overall that are still questioning Kofi being champion.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you in that aspect that, like, I don't think that there is, well, that's not true. You know, there's a hardcore portion of the fan base that is just angry all the time, as you know.
Sure.
But I mean, I get, like, you know, like responses to that tweet about Kofi where people were like, "Oh no, his title run has been so weak,
What?
like weakest champion since Jinder Mahal."
Oh, for
like,
fuck's sake.
and I'm just like, what? Like,
That's
no way.
stupid.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
That's stupid.
But maybe
He's
there are
been
people within the
fantastic.
company who feel that way. I don't know.
Yeah, that's crazy to me too, because it isn't just the writing. He's been delivering great matches in all these matches.
He's been the poster boy of what a babyface should be.
Yes, because it's believable every time he might lose.
Believable. You can stand behind him. He seems like he has morals that resonate with the crowd.
Yep.
He's good to his friends. You know, his words aren't hollow. He backs them up.
Yep.
He says he's gonna win. He wins. You know, I think that those things are important. And he has been the poster boy of a babyface. I think right now.
Thoroughly agree with that. All right, let's move on. We'll see, how this progresses down and what happens in SummerSlam between those guys. But Finn Balor came out after his 2-week hiatus to talk about what happened with Bray Wyatt.
Hiatus, right?
I think it was 2, wasn't it 2?
Who knows?
All right.
No, because Bray Wyatt debuted 2 weeks. Well, it was last Raw, so that would only be one Raw in between. So 1 week.
Okay. All right, fine. 1 week, and you had this situation where he'd been taken out by
the
Fiend there in Bray Wyatt, and who had, of course, took out the poor Mick Foley. So he talks about all this, and he says he's going to come back. He's going to fight him. He's angry about the whole situation. So this seems like I thought he was taking a 2-month break. Are they going to barrel into this, or is
remember I had said
where he does the 2-month break after this match?
Yeah, in my initial report, it said it was likely the 2-month break was likely to start was probably going to start right after SummerSlam.
Okay.
So I guess he loses at SummerSlam.
So he'll get destroyed at SummerSlam, and then maybe comes back and next. Okay. Did you like this promo? I mean,
Okay, so the Finn part was whatever.
Right.
It was fine.
Right.
Made sense. I wasn't like against it. But, Jay Washington and I yesterday on the Raw recap, we talked about how we really felt like now that we've seen The Fiend a few times, another episode of Firefly Fun House was needed to kind of like bring it all together, to tie the two together of like, okay, this guy and this guy are very different.
Right.
Can we get some sort of connective tissue here to figure out like how that guy and those things we were loving is this guy who's doing things in the ring? And I felt like they did a really good job of that last night. When the Firefly Funhouse music started playing, I popped. I was like, oh yes, this is what I wanted.
I was totally surprised.
Yeah, I was too, because even though Jay and I said it, I didn't think it was gonna happen.
Right.
And I felt like it was exactly what this feud needed to kind of keep it going a little bit. The Mick Foley thing was fun. It was a good like scary guy thing or whatever.
Right.
But this Firefly Funhouse thing where it pops up and he's just doing the whole like I am a huge fan of yours, but the Fiend is not. Like I love that whole stuff.
He accepts the match.
Yeah, he accepts.
He's got to let me in. And it's like, this is part of it. I've seen a couple of comments online from other reviewers who said like this was great to see Balor on the other side of a person who has a double personality.
Totally.
So it's like, oh wow, this could actually be really fascinating if they both come out regular. But of course, I don't know, because it's
I don't see
easier
Finn being the demon yet.
Yeah, it's easier, and it's easier for Bray to switch just putting on the mask, whereas Finn has to put all the paint on and shit. So it takes way longer for him to become the demon.
I think that I think that we're gonna see regular Finn because, like I said, he's taking that 2-month break.
Yeah.
So I feel like he loses, and if he's not joining the club when he comes back, or the OC,
right?
If he's not joining the OC when he gets back, then I could see him coming back as the demon for revenge.
Yeah.
You thought you got rid of me, but the demon, I also have a split personality, because he even alluded to their old feud where he said, like, I don't know if he's like still got past beef from before. Right. And I'm assuming he was referencing when they were gonna wrestle and it was gonna be Sister Abigail versus the Demon, and that never happened. So this is definitely a cooler way of getting to that match of the Fiend versus the Demon. But I definitely love the Firefly Fun House thing, even though it's obviously backstage this time and not in its own special set somewhere on a sound stage. Yeah, it's clearly just like backstage, white or with a blue wallpaper that they just kind of put up somewhere. Yeah. But regardless, I thought that they did a really good job of the split personality thing with Bray Wyatt here. I thought that they made it. You go like, oh, that guy's crazy. Yeah, that guy's fucking nuts, and I like that because he had the whole. I don't know. He just made you. It made the whole thing more believable to me.
Don't disagree with you there. All right, our last match of the night is Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens here with, as we saw earlier in the night, which we didn't say, we have Elias as the special timekeeper, Shane McMahon out there as the announcer, and Roman Reigns, as Drew McIntyre's special guest referee. And this didn't even become a match, honestly. It just devolved quickly. Reigns took a little bit of offense at what Kevin Owens said, so they went at it, but then they turned on McIntyre, then Elias got involved, then Shane. It all goes around, but in the end, Kevin Owens standing tall in the ring, having taken care of Shane after he got a Superman punch. He stunned him twice, and that was that. No one takes a stunner better than Shane does.
Except for last week.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. I guess so. Maybe he was like, "Oh, yeah, I got to do better. I got to do better."
That's
but
probably
usually,
more what it was,
because he's done great. He's gotten great stunners from Stone Cold. Yeah, those are everywhere. All great. And I hate when people just kind of crumble to the ground. Yeah, you gotta sell the thing.
Yeah, don't Linda McMahon it.
Or even too far with Rock, where you're flipping over.
Those are my favorite stunners when they do that. I hate those. Oh, the Rock getting stunned is my favorite.
I always think Triple H and Shane have been the best to receive them.
Shane was one of the best back in the day.
Yeah, because I'm sorry,
The Rock's so much better. The Rock was the best. The Rock was 100% the best. I loved it when he would just like sell it like he had been shot in the face.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels did. I'm joking. The way he would do it, I just, but anyway, did you like this? This was kind of fun. I found this to be actually fun, and I thought I wasn't gonna like it, and I actually enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was fine. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I was kind of like half paying attention to this part because I was writing Trish Stratus. Oh, I shouldn't have spoiled it. I tried so hard not to spoil it for people, and then I did it anyways.
But you didn't say where. You didn't say what.
Good point. Damn it.
You just mentioned you like your
the worst.
You're writing about your stratus. There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm not going to have him edit that out, whatever. But I was so busy writing the thing, I was only kind of half paying attention, but it didn't seem like I needed to give it my full attention.
It was what it was.
It was what it was. Yeah. I am enjoying the Kevin Owens, Shane McMahon stuff much more than I have the Kevin Owens, than the Roman Reigns, Shane McMahon stuff. Right. So I'm feeling it. I want to see the SummerSlam match. I think they've properly built it up. I don't want Roman Reigns to be involved in it at all, though. Although I'm getting worried that he might have some sort of involvement now. Maybe it turns into a tag team match or something like that. Oh. And I don't need Stone Cold Kevin Owens to be tagging with Roman Reigns to kind of help him a little bit to like make the anti-authority thing more believable for Roman Reigns. Let Kevin Owens do it now. It wasn't working with Roman.
I guess that's a fair point. Yeah. It's weird the way it's going. Is he going to be involved in them? Because it can't be Kevin Owens versus all three of those guys. So you imagine at some point, maybe Roman is just around the ring as a help.
And he's not pegged for anything right now.
Yeah, so maybe that's what he is.
And he's been involved with these guys the whole time.
Yeah. I don't want it to be a tag match. I want it to be a one-on-one.
Me too.
And they're outside the ring. And maybe they pull what they've been pulling at these shows, which is it's originally a singles match, and as it gets going, ding, 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 they turn it into a tag match. That's certainly a possibility.
You don't do that at SummerSlam,
especially with Shane involved in the situation. He can decide to do that. So
I have heard I shouldn't say that here, actually.
Another spoiler.
No, it's just a scoop I haven't put out in the internet yet, so I probably should hold off on it. But yes, I agree with you. I hope it's possible it does turn into that. Yeah. I hope it doesn't.
Yeah, agreed. Well, there you go. That's our SmackDown Live recap. Hope you enjoyed that and revisiting the show from last night. I would say overall I enjoyed the show. Yeah, not one of the greatest SmackDowns, but certainly a fun one, especially on the heels of that awesomely fun Raw reunion. Sorry some of you didn't like it. I watched it last night, for the first time because I didn't watch it the other night, and I really enjoyed it. So if you didn't like it, I'm sorry for you. I thought that was a nice revisit to memory lane.
I did too. I liked the reunion. Just one minor note too to WWE. Where are the ladies at?
Fair points.
What happened?
Yeah, fair points.
You've got women's tag team champions. You got all these things.
Yeah, what was the Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose? Did they say they locked in a tag team title match?
That was very confusing, by the way.
Yeah, I was confused
like,
about that as
hey,
well.
I got us this a tag team title opportunity. Oh, yeah, and if we win, we get a tag team title opportunity. It was like, wait, did you already have it, or do you have to earn it? That was confusing.
And why wasn't it that night? Why'd you have the promo and not have the match?
I was very confused about that.
That was very confusing.
But regardless, there was one match that was
Charlotte.
like 3 minutes?
Yeah.
And like the Raw reunion didn't really have any women's wrestling either.
No, not wrestling. No, we had the moment of bliss, but that's about it.
Get with it. WWE. Like, come on, you can't say you were part of this revolution and then just like not use them again.
Yeah, and it's weird if this is what Bischoff and Heyman are doing, then
no, I don't think this is a Bischoff and Heyman thing.
All right.
They don't have their hands in the cookie jar enough yet.
Okay. All right.
They have influence. Well, Bischoff just had his first production meeting this week. This was the first one he was at.
Okay.
This was his first SmackDown.
So they've opened the jar.
They've opened the jar. I think Heyman's got his hand deeper than Bischoff for sure.
Sure. I'm gonna let that go.
Right.
Thanks everybody for watching this episode. Ryan, tell them where they can read, watch, and listen to everything we do.
ProWrestlingSheet.com. That's the website where you can find all the top stories in the world of professional wrestling throughout the week. At Wrestling Sheet on social media. YouTube.com/C/Wrestling Sheet. That's where you can find the Raw and SmackDown recaps that we do here. You can find Wrestling Sheet Radio there as well, and any other videos that I decide to post. Check it out. While you're there, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like the videos. Make sure you comment. I read them all, so please keep doing that. I appreciate it very much. But also, if you just want to listen to the audio, you can do that as well. Just search Wrestling Sheet Radio on all the top podcast platforms.
There you go. You can follow him at Ryan Satin. Follow me at The Rocha Says. We will talk. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll talk to you next week with